Oh no, I'm deep in thought. My kids said that to me at dinner. You're zoning out. Like, I'm too much on my mind. I have a lot on my mind to get very quiet, which is abnormal. Thank you for snapping me out of it. Oh yeah.
Sometimes you thought that I'm staring at All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. We're going to bring this meeting to a start. We begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'd stay with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Great to be with you. Nice turnout. There's some new faces to me, which is always nice. It's exciting when I see people in the same seat I was in. You may have had experience coming here before, but I just showed up when I moved here from California and started coming to these meetings when I heard about them, and now I'm president somehow. So you could be next. You could be next. So the way we do these meetings, that was awkwardly loud all of a sudden. Sorry about that. The way we run these meetings is we start with our community partners. We've mixed around our agenda a little bit based on what's normal. One, with our kind of the community strategic pillars that we put together, kind of guiding the work that we're doing, but also making sure that all the community partners are together in a specific portion of that of the agenda. So typically we would start with either the police or the fire. Both are not able to make it today. We did get a report, both the crime report and the traffic incident report. I know Brandon might mention a couple of things from those. I will note that there were 18 accidents in the month of September and 20 in the month of August. And in both of those months, there were only one person was pulled over for the entire month within Pleasant Ridge. And both of those people were sent on their way. So whatever they were pulled over for, whether it was speeding or anything else, there was no citations issued. We already have asked our community officer to be present at PRN during both drop-off and pickup times just to observe, because some wild things are happening around that intersection on the crime. Fire department is also not here. Kendall Bobo, are you ready, mister? Thank you as always for caring for the kids of the community.
Oh, yeah. No problem now. How's everyone doing today? Good. My name is Kendall Bobo. I'm one of the community center directors here at Pleasant Ridge Recreation Center. I do not have much to talk about, but we do have our Bull Fest Trunk or Treat event coming up October 24th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So here's this flyer here. There are some more back there, and if someone would like to, volunteer to pass out candy to the kids, decorate their trunks of their car, and pass out candy and just have fun, dress up in costumes, that'll be great. So I do have my business card back there. You can always email me if you're interested in helping out, and you can bring your kids out as well. Have any questions?
You have to sign up for the trunk or treat, or you just show up?
You can just so you can just show up to the trunk or treat. But if you're volunteering, we want you to sign up if you want to pass out candy. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Kendall.
Thank you, Kendall, as always. We'll make sure to get all the dates on both our website and in the meeting notes as well. Do we have anybody here from the library today? Does not look like it. We are flying through this meeting already. All right, so Ms. Gwynn, that makes it your turn already.
With all my notes, yeah.
Thank you. My name is Gwen Roth. I am the secretary of the LSDMC for PRM. We are the local school decision-making committee. Just a few notes from Cincinnati Public in general. As you may have heard on this next upcoming ballot in November, Cincinnati Public is asking for a renewal of a 10-year levy. This will not raise taxes. Okay. It will, however, raise $48 million for CPS annually over the next 10 years, and that goes towards K-12 programs and preschool campus, which is a fabulous program that is completely unfunded. So we're trying to get that funded. A couple other things to note. All 6 unions in CPS have agreed to no COLA increases this year. CPS lost a lot of funding when the federal government took back, well, I guess when the pandemic funding ended, they lost a lot of that funding. And then, of course, the administration took back some of the money they promised. So definitely trying to work to raise money. Oh, and the other thing is the state of Ohio is considering rescinding property taxes. You may have heard about this as well. Call your people or don't, that is up to you. But just to let you know, that money from property taxes funds all kinds of things. It funds police, it funds fire, it funds infrastructure, it funds schools. So think about that like, hey, we don't have to pay property taxes. But what kind of community does have us living in? So think about that as well. And if anybody has any questions about upcoming events at PRM or CPS, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thanks, Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen. So we're already to me. Man, we could get out of here early, but I'm not going to make any promises. That rarely works out. So I wanted to start off by just saying thank you to the many volunteers that are present, both committee members and leaders, to the people that just randomly volunteer and put things like Ridge Day. We had the Repair Fair, and now we've got coming up the Prepare Fair, which I will talk about next. Our community the strength of our community is built on people that are willing to give their time. In case you don't know and you're new to all this, we are all volunteers. The only thing we get from this is the joy of being able to serve alongside each other and to serve our community and see it take its next steps. I'm excited about the momentum we've got and some opportunities that are ahead of us. We're in a position now to push towards some goals that we've set for ourselves. We talked about some of those in the last meeting. And so I'm really excited about where we're going. I really think we have a lot of momentum, and it's kind of just the start, in my opinion. I hope that ends up being the truth, not just my opinion. The Prepare Fair is a service event in November. So the Repair Fair, we went and we took care of the deck of an elderly couple within our community. The Prepare Fair is run by the same organization who provides the materials, but volunteers within the community will go and we will clean up leaves and rake and prepare someone's yard and property for the winter to come. So we're aiming for a November 15th date. We already have one crew leader. We're hoping we do have crew 2 now. Yeah, it's like that's a great news. So we are looking for a second crew captain because we would like to be able to do 2 homes. And so all of these are for either somebody who's elderly or other able, so that we're going to get together, make quick work of it. We would like them to be on the same day, or at least I would hope they'd be on the same day, because I think it'd be great to do a meetup afterwards. So say we volunteered from 9 or 10 to noon or 1, we could all meet up at Goodfellas and buy ourselves a slice of pizza and just high five and celebrate the fact that we served our community and some people were blessed by it. I think that would be a really fun thing to do. So if you're interested in volunteering, even not as a leader, please check the notes of this meeting and the emails that we're sending out, because there'll be a link to be able to register as a volunteer. And then we'll know how many people are actually coming to do so.
It's through People Working Cooperatively, which is a partner of Council on Aging. So it's our local senior services.
Thank you for those details. Next thing I want to report on is we are fully members of Cincinnati Neighborhood Business Districts United. What that allows us to is access to a set of an extra set of funds that can be used in our business district for all sorts of things, but mostly it's used throughout the city for whether it's signage or cleanup or beautification. It's mostly used for those things. This coming year is going to be $3,500. It's been about that much every year for several years. To be able to add this to our existing budget and take care of some things that we already want to do in our business district. We did put a call out in the last meeting for any sort of proposals, for any ideas on that. We did not receive any. So as an executive team and with the committee chairs, in our next meeting, we will be determining what we're going to aim that money at. We'll report on that in the next meeting. We will officially vote on it on getting the public's approval for what we're choosing to do that for. So you'll hear back from us next month about what that's going to be aimed at. One of the big things that we've been talking about since I became president, and it started long before I was president. In fact, the discussion started about this time last year, and we had our first meeting with the city in November of last year around what we found out, what was new to me, is what's called TIF funds. And so we've got a couple of TIF projects, tax increment financing. Essentially, these are property taxes that are already put into a purse. The Hamilton County auditor puts them in a purse. The city council still directs those funds, but they have to be used within the district that they are accrued in. So this is money that's for our community that is not being activated yet. And so when we found out about this, we started working together with the business district, the business association, and the development corporation. So all three parties started to work together towards a strategic plan to get ahead of this and play offense instead of defense. And we've done a really good job with that. We got a grant from the city for some pre-development planning on key sites that need to be redeveloped within our business district. We're underway on that. That was with Yard & Co. $75,000 was awarded. It technically had to go through PRDC, but we're working together as a group on that plan with specific sites in mind, and eventually we'll have something to present when they finish their work. And then that turned into an initial request in partnership from all three of us for a TIF allocation fund. What we were trying to ask the city is, please give us that money for these purposes. And that was $1 million towards pedestrian safety infrastructure and $2.4 million towards strategic property acquisition. So community council cannot be in the position where we are acquiring properties. PRDC is set up. That's exactly what they're for. We can, however, ask the city for the pedestrian safety part. So we put the two together in an official request from the three boards. And what we've heard back from the city is they would like us to decouple the requests for a few reasons. And the main reason is that the mechanism, the processes are very different. So if they're both on a road to a place called completion, they need to take different routes, and completion might actually be a different place. I know that there's a Lebanon in Kentucky and there's a Lebanon in Ohio. If they're both going to Lebanon, it's not the same route, it's not the same speed, etc. That's essentially what they're asking us to do, is to decouple those things. Looked at the agenda. We are going to vote on two things today, and that's basically the next step in that work. The things that we're going to be voting on are, the first vote is going to be for PRCC to request $1 million of that fund to go into a special pedestrian safety traffic calming fund that we've been getting some of our priorities accomplished within Pleasant Ridge for pedestrian safety. If you haven't been in our business district lately and walked it, then I suggest you come check it out, because it's scary sometimes. Or even better, just go upstairs in the patio of Goodfellas and look down at that intersection for 15 minutes, and you'll see why we think this is such a priority. And then the other one is whether or not we publicly support PRDC's request for the strategic property acquisition piece of that. Because they're the ones that are equipped for that type of work. So all of this has been informed by many surveys, both from Yard & Co. from us. And when I first came on, I studied what has been important, what has the community council been working on. And revitalization of the business district has been something that we've been working on since the 80s. And then when the new plan was put in place at the city, the official community plan at the city in 2008, that was amended in 2016, the whole thing was about reinvesting in the business district. So essentially what we're doing as a group, the Business Association, the Development Corporation, and the Community Council, is working together towards that goal, with the added goal of the pedestrian safety infrastructure that has clearly been a priority based on all the feedback that we've received from surveys, from interactions with the community, etc. Any questions about all that so far? All right, many of you have heard that spiel 10 times already, but I always got to make sure people are up to speed on what we're talking about. So we are going to move to vote on those two different items, and they're going to be separately. And the way we do these votes is by a simple raising of hands. I will hold my vote until the end, as my job is to be a tiebreaker if necessary. And the first thing that we are going to officially vote on now is whether or not PRCC, us together, and we are the representative board, to request $1 million to use towards pedestrian safety and traffic calming infrastructure in and around our business district. So we will take a raise of hands if you are in favor.
I got 26, including us.
Oh,
It wasn't going to be a tie, so I threw my hand up to show my support.
it's
Thank
really hard
you.
to count.
Any nays? Thank you for your honesty.
I just wanted to say, I signed in, but I can't vote because I'm
Yeah.
not a resident.
Yeah.
Don't match that here.
Yeah, that makes sense. As long as we have the number of votes that are counted match the numbers on the sign-in, we're good to go, or above, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll just abstain.
And I will remind that if you don't live in Pleasant Ridge, like very specifically a Pleasant Ridge address that doesn't include Ridgewood, I'm sorry, or you don't own a business in Pleasant Ridge, your vote actually doesn't count. I should have said that ahead of time, and I apologize. So that is, we've got numbers there, and from there we are going to vote on whether or not we support PRDC's request for the strategic property acquisition portion of the fund for $2.4 million. And we will begin with a raise of hands for yay.
Oh, wait, I
Yeah.
do have questions about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, is there a presentation on what they're buying with the 2.4?
Well, the properties.
Get into it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the properties that PRDC is currently working towards that are under contract, Jason spoke about last week. One is the Muller Hollywood old grocery store building that's right next to Burger King. The other property that is in question is the Hodesh / Architectural Glass Studio building. Those are the two properties in question. Apologies. If those change your vote, we can start over.
The idea behind the Muller Beauty Lab and the Youthland Academy, where we have Ridge Day, is that the Burger King lot combined with that one will be very appealing to a developer rather than just a tiny little Burger King lot. That's the idea.
That is the idea, because just the Burger King lot has not been proven to be big enough for most developers to do something with so far in the 6 or 8 years. I don't know all the details because I'm not PRDC, so apologies there. What's your other question?
Is there a plan on what to do with the property, or will PRDC just be controlling that whole area from Burger King all the way down to?
So they'll have control over the property. Plans for what to come is a next step beyond where we're at now. So they would start looking for a partnering developer to have plans there. They are actually currently working with a local developer on some plans, but it's all concepts. Nothing is stamped in, sure. And when that happens, any of these things will include a city, so public engagement sessions by the city, and then there will be other opportunities for input when it comes to that. Go ahead, Jim.
Plan is to demolish the Real Kroger building.
In order for there to be essentially, I think the plans would be that. Yeah.
What about the other building down on Ridge? Did you reserve that building or?
Speak, and I'll be wearing my PRDC board member hat while I'm speaking. So not Pleasant Ridge Community Council. I also will be abstaining from the vote tonight. So PRDC is a nonprofit full of residents of Pleasant Ridge. When I moved to Pleasant Ridge a few years after, walked through the business district and said, what's happening here? What's going on with all these vacant buildings? Started asking questions, met PRDC, got involved. Jason Chamley is the president. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how unified the neighborhood is with PRCC, PRDC, PRBA, and really the Pleasant Ridge Development Corporation is the neighborhood being able to buy properties, and then the neighborhood controlling and having input and an actual voice in what happens with those developments. In other neighborhoods in Cincinnati that don't have DCs, what you might see is that these happen all the time, where a private developer using their own private funds buys a property and does whatever they want within the zoning and authority and approval that they have. When PRDC gets to buy a property, we control it. And so then we invite individuals to the table for them to dance with us. They have to meet the needs of the neighbors. And I'm a resident and I'm one of those neighbors. So PRDC helped to bring Goodfellas, Nine Giant, Fermentorium, etc. I think we all like those places. And that was a big need of the neighborhood. With the architectural glass studio, Jim, I think that was your question. Our goal is to save that building, and we think it's really awesome for the community and want to find a great way to activate it because it's next to the Pocket Park. And then the same with, we own the Burger King, the lot next to it, we are under contract on, and we're still trying to figure out what the final vision looks like. And part of what I really wanted to have be true was that anything that we're doing is backed in consumer or resident data. So that's why we did Yard & Co. They came in as a third party that I think many of you might have seen their survey. We did an activation. And when I say we, by the way, it's really referring to all three entities. Did an activation at Ridge Day to say, hey, what are you looking for? What matches your interest? And so as we're meeting with different people that might be interested in those sites, we're sharing these things, like parking and how important that is, and not making a joke of it. I know parking is really important, and I learned some things on Facebook this past month as people shared perspective, and I actually shared it with the people that we're talking to and said, hey, we need to make sure parking actually plays a role, because I'm a resident and I care about you all, and we're all neighbors. And so what's cool is if PRDC is able to buy these properties, you have sitting at the table residents on your behalf, on our behalf, helping to decide what happens here. If we are not able to buy it, then those properties will go to market and developers can buy them. PRDC does not have funds outside of what we get from the city. I personally, sadly, don't have funds to buy those properties. They're very cool. And so what the vote is to help us, and we control it. And I'm really saying we, like it's the neighborhood find those, and then we invite developers in, invite teams in to try to figure out the needs of the community. So today's just the first step. It's not the last step at all. And everyone's been on the journey. You've seen the yard stuff, and today is a vote for that. So I'm obviously abstaining from it. I hope, Jim, that answered your question. And by the way, the owners of both of those properties either sought us out or we sought them out. And then we made sure we understood what was happening with the folks that were operating there. And across all the properties, the people occupying those properties outside of us, they said they're planning on moving on. So we're not displacing anyone. We've even asked, is there time that you would want to stay, and have worked to try to make it work, because they are our neighbors and we want to take care of them and not padlock the door. So that was a quick crash course in PRDC. Jason was here last to share all of the data, and that part of why I joined community council is that we have more transparency. And I think you've all seen, probably get tired of me every month talking about PRDC. But the goal is, and I came in and I said, hey, we need to make sure everyone is clear on what's happening. So that was way more time than I was supposed to get. So I love talking about development in the neighborhood, and we can talk more afterwards.
I just think, is that also the corner of Ridge?
No, but I will share an update on the corner when it comes to my section. So I'm surprised Jeff has not re-yanked the microphone from me.
I think your spiel helped probably answer some questions that were already going to come up anyway.
So are the 2.4 million being requested? Is that land that already in the contract? We know the 2.4 million will get the job done.
Correct.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. If you didn't hear that, and for people online, the question was, will the money that we're asking for be enough to buy those properties? And the answer is yes. Any other questions before we take the vote?
I have a question question about TIF funds.
Yeah.
I know that those replenish, but like how much will be left after we take this money out, and when will it like replenish enough that we could do this again?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, if you don't have the numbers, but I'm just curious.
I've been deep in the numbers. So our TIF district goes from Pleasant Ridge, Montessori down to the library. There are taxes that have already been collected. The PRDC actually advocated to have Pleasant Ridge have a TIF. And there's currently $4.6 million in our TIF. Approximately every 6 months, $1 million more is added to it, so about $2 million per year. And then 25% of your neighborhood's TIF has to be used towards or set aside for affordable housing. So we're asking to use 3.4. There will be 1.2 left over. So more than 25, we can't spend beyond the 3.4. The math is oddly squaring with the two properties. That was not intentional, but that's how it works. And then it replenishes. And to date, we have spent $0 from our neighborhood TIF.
Are there any regulations to how often you can request TIF funds?
Not that I'm aware of. I know there are some motions at City Council to add more guidance on how TIF works, because there's a trend across the city of neighborhoods having lots of needs. And then there's lots of dollars locked up in these accounts. And we're saying we need speed cushions to slow cars down, and we want to repair vacant properties, and you're withholding funds from us. So.
Thank you.
And I think it's worth saying again that we're not the PRTC is not the only entity that can request the use of these funds.
Correct. It is important to point out, people online, you don't get to vote, but you would like this information if you're interested. Yes, our community associations and councils are not the only people that can request these funds. A private developer could come buy a property with their own money and then request those funds from City Council to help subsidize their own project. So what we're voting on is, please let us have this money and not let other people have this money indirectly. Yeah, I hope that is helpful.
Well, this may be an in-the-weeds question, but so there's a 25% set aside for affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
We use 3/4 of it for buying this property. The other quarter, can another private developer come and use that for things that are not affordable housing?
All funds that are set aside for affordable housing have to be used for affordable housing, no matter who uses them.
And are there any plans that works for communities?
So the thought would be for any of the sites that there's very few sites in Pleasant Ridge to be able to build affordable housing. As we're thinking, if we get to acquire these properties, then as we look at developers, when they're coming to our table, we can say, hey, the neighborhood really cares about affordable housing or blended housing, and we want to figure out how to make that happen. There are times where the math for them is not squaring and they need TIF, and that's why TIF has 25%. So it's a negotiation of, hey, great, you're going to build XYZ. We will bring it to community council and ask that we grant the remaining 25% if you build X number of units that are blended or mixed income, and it has to be in the business district. Not, unfortunately, we have zero jurisdiction, and TIF money can't go outside the business district. So, perfect. So, and what's cool is we get like a seat at the table for those dollars. If random developer comes in and buys the properties, like they may say, perfect, I don't need TIF, I don't need affordable housing, I'm going to build whatever I want right here. It's within the zoning compliance, and that's what I'm doing, and I would be very sad. So, sorry I've talked so much.
Yes, but
And it is codified that our TIF money stays.
it is
Council can't change that and say, oh, never mind, it's your side.
it is law for X number of years. I believe it's 25, could be 30, but it's law. We've talked about TIF a lot this year. It's fun. But hey, when you find out that your community has potential access to dollars to get some stuff done, it gets exciting. And then you do have to get in the weeds, as somebody else put it. Okay, so are we ready to vote, or do we have any more questions? Yep, I plan to. So we are voting for Pleasant Ridge Community Council's support of PRDC's request for $2.4 million for a strategic property acquisition fund essentially, and that's going to go towards the two properties we discussed, the artificial glass studio and the former grocery store that is now more Hollywood and Youth Lane. So if you're in favor, please raise your hand.
Yes, we can. Okay, yeah, we got it. Good.
We
And
got the same number, guys. Great
if
news.
you are not in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. And we have one abstain. Let the record show. All right, we've done it. We've officially gotten through the vote, and I'm glad that we had the conversation. Obviously, it's good to make sure that everybody is fully aware of what they're voting on. So apologize for me rushing ahead on all of you. So from there, we are continuing in our executive department reports. Now on to Josh.
Hello, I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Josh, your neighbor. I would say it's an honor and privilege to serve you all. I love this neighborhood. I plan to live here a very long time. So I'm the vice president of Pleasant Ridge Community Council, also on the board of PRDC. So I regularly share updates. Gentleman in the back, you asked about 6100. So the corner property, we received a grant from the port, or essentially from the city through the port, and that building is set to be demolished. They should have been starting this week, was the last I was told last week. So it should be coming down by hand. If you're wondering why the parking lot is still closed at Burger King, it's because that is where they're storing their equipment, and then that's where the remains of the building will be going to then be pieced apart, pulled apart, and then taken away. And then down the road, we will eventually have discussions on what might be developed on the corner there. But right now, that's early stages. In between Gaslight and in between demolition and building something, they're going to fill it with dirt and gravel and plant grass, and it'll look somewhat like a park. And the community council is thinking through how to make it less ugly and somewhat inviting. I have 4 little kids that run, and so I don't know if I will hang out at that park on the corner by Ridge, but maybe you all will if you don't have lots of young little kids, which I got myself into that, and I love my kids. So, all right, so next steps. Now that there is a favorable vote, the Department of Community and Economic Development has received the applications from PRDC on these properties. They still will do a public engagement session, a hearing of the public, I think is what they call it. The planning group downtown does that. They also will send out flyers to all the neighboring properties of that property and say, hey, this is what's happening. Let us know if you have opinions. They will collect this vote. They will collect the hearing input, and then that will all be compiled and sent to city council, and city council will vote on whether or not they will allow the neighborhood to have those funds to spend on our neighborhood. So we had several city council members out this past week, so about 5, including the vice mayor. We walked them all around the neighborhood and pointed out to them the pedestrian safety challenges. Many of them actually shared the issues before we could even get to it. So they crossed the street like, oh my gosh, that was frightening. I had one of them kind of unintentionally stand right on the corner as 2 very large, almost snowplow sized vehicles slammed by with big trailers. And she jumped forward. It was not intentional, but I think they really got the feel. They got to see school being let out at Nativity and PRM. And we really said, hey, this is what we're daily. They saw kids sprinting across Ridge for TCB. And so they saw all of the things that we were dealing with and the different properties. And so it was great to have them see what we're looking for, so that when this gets to a vote on city council, they now have the visit with the very chatty guy named Josh talking about the neighborhood, and hopefully they're in favor of it and support us. So that'll be happening, we're hoping, before the end of the year. Yard & Co. As Jeff mentioned, they came in, they were a third party. Phase 1, they collected a lot of data, your input. Phase 2, they started envisioning what could some of these sites look like. Some of them we were envisioning mixed, dense, so multi-unit residential with commercial on the first floor. We also were looking at how do you better incorporate green and more trees and places to sit. And so there's some really cool concepts. Phase 3 is then building out what all those plans look like, and it's a vision of what our business district could be. It's not a declaration, and it really is the neighborhood's vision since you all inputted into that. Lastly, moving away from development updates, our website, which we have a lot of help from Kelly on. Thank you so much, Kelly, our comms committee. We have added a page on PRDC, so explaining all the things. You can see historical projects. All of the board members' names are on there and their backgrounds. And so if you have questions or after this want to look up some of the things that PRDC has done, you can do that. We also will be creating a PRBA page to highlight what the business association does, and also those members of PRBA and those businesses, we want to shout them out. So keep your eyes peeled for website updates. Thanks to the volunteers who are helping with that. And that ends my updates. Any questions? No, great.
Thank you, Josh. I do want to share, I did actually get a compliment about the comms team today when I was out in the public. We love what you're putting on social media. We're actually seeing things that are going on. We like it.
Well, I also have a compliment for the comms team because she recently redid our whole calendar and it is way, way, way better. So you can see on pleasantridge.org. And our new events team has also been helping out a lot with that. So you can see it's actually a Google Calendar. If you want to, you can even incorporate it with your own personal Google Calendar. So you can really see what's going on if you want to, or it may not, you may not want to. But we don't get a lot of submissions. Most of the events on there are because one of the three of us find them and add them. And we know we are missing plenty of things. So if you know of something happening in the neighborhood that would be of general interest, please let us know. For those of you who are new, we have in the back, there's a couple QR codes. One will take you directly to the public folder where last month's meeting minutes are, where this month's agenda is. The agenda has every email address of every person who talks. It has a lot of information on there. I try to just make it as helpful as possible. So if you want to know how to get in touch with someone, check out the agenda. So, can we get a approval of last month's minutes if anyone read them?
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly. Any second?
Okay, thank you.
Names I know, that's great.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessie Frank. I'm the treasurer for PRCC. A couple things to talk about here. So if you've been with us the past couple months, you've heard of Friends of French Park and how we are acting as fiduciary for them. Friends of French Park is not a 501c3 organization, but they applied for a $1,500 grant. We are a 501c3, so we took on the fiduciary responsibilities so they could get $1,500 for a planting event, which is happening this Saturday. So on the 11th at French Park, they are having their planting event. They purchased a bunch of new native plants. So anybody who's available, show up, please help them plant at French Park. More information is on their Instagram and their Facebook page, just Friends of French Park, and it'll take you there. But very exciting, $1,500 coming in around our community, and we're happy we could help them with that. All right, and then on another grant perspective, if you've been with us, you've heard the acronym NSP. It's one of the biggest grants we get each year. This year was $10,000. We spent that on beautification efforts. Ridge Day, our biggest fundraiser of the year, we use that to expense some of the infrastructure, and then for our storage unit administration expense. All of those expenses are done, so Ruth Ann and I are meeting on the 20th this month to get that final documentation submitted. It's not due until December, but we're done, so we're getting this thing knocked out so we can be done with it for the year. But yeah, another exciting year with NSP. We don't know what 2026 is going to look like. They don't ever tell us how much the grant could potentially be for the next year until like February of that year. So 10,000 is the most we've ever gotten in the years that I've been treasurer. It's It's been 7,000. It's been a little bit higher. 10,000 is definitely the most. So we'd love to have 10,000 again. We don't know if they will keep it that high. So hopefully, but we will know that early next year. And we'll let you know at that time. And we'll go through the process again of figuring out what kind of projects we're going to put towards that. Okay. I know we have Jeff here, and I'll have you come up here in a little while with the committee, but I just our last fundraising event of the year is coming up in December. It's a Luminaria event, and Jeff Cerrone and his family we're so thankful for them because they helped manage this event for us. He's going to come up here in a little while and tell you even more about it, but very exciting. Last fundraising event of the year, and we hope you guys will join us with that. And with that being the last event, of course, we're already looking into 2026, trying to figure out what type of income and what kind of expenses we're going to have as a community council. So all the TIF talk and those millions of dollars, that doesn't go through us. I'm not managing millions of dollars. We're talking 30,000 or less. I can't do a million. So with all of the funding we can control, when we talk about our budget, that's what we're talking about. So like income-wise, so the Ridge Day fundraising events, Luminaria, all these grants we keep talking about, this new business district grant we're going to be going for, donations, forecasting all of those, as well as our expenses. So all the beautification efforts we do, the safety camera program, Pleasant Streets, and radar detection there. So all of those expenses we can control. We're working on forecasting those for next year right now. We're working with the committees this month to kind of finalize where we think 2026 is going to end up. The exec team is going to talk in November, so I think by the December meeting, we'll be able to have a more holistic conversation of what 2026 is going to look like. Any questions on that? Anyone? Great, thank you.
Moving right along. Okay, so with that ends our executive committee reports. We have two special guests today that are going to be presenting. Each has 5 minutes to share whatever they would like to share. And the first is City Council nominee Jerry. Is it Corbett? Nice to have you, sir. If you go right to the mic there. You have 5 minutes to share whatever you'd like.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll need that. I'll help your meeting move along a little bit. Thank you for having me. My name's Jerry Corbett, and I am one of the 27 candidates for City Council. So I'll tell a little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong Cincinnatian. I grew up on the west side of Cincinnati, Riverside. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. Down between Sedansville and Sailor Park. I've moved around to different neighborhoods after I got married, and I live in Mount Washington right now. I am a retired Greater Cincinnati Waterworks employee. I worked there for nearly 31 years full time. I went back and I did some training. I did a course back in around 2009 on the infrastructure of waterworks, and also the interrelated infrastructure of the city. So I did that and trained and helped, did some consulting with the waterworks. Prior to that, I worked at General Motors in Norwood. I was a member of the UAW. I was a member of the steel workers, and then I got on with the waterworks. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I loved the waterworks. Loved working with the city. I am a Democrat. I've been a Democrat my whole life. I've been pro-union. I worked in various unions, and I worked in the union for the city before I wound up moving up and becoming an assistant superintendent. I didn't seek any endorsement because after nearly 31 years working with the city, I saw too many decisions that were being made that were benefiting everybody but the people of the city of Cincinnati. And I want to be, if I was fortunate enough, and it's an uphill battle, I realize that, but if I was fortunate enough to get on city council, I don't want to be persuaded by any special interest. In my agenda, one of the things I want to do is, when I worked for the waterworks, I found a lot of efficiencies, and I saved, and I don't like talking about myself, but I saved millions of dollars for the waterworks over the years by finding, to me, which was obvious things. And it improved efficiency and it improved productivity. And I see the opportunity to do the same thing with the city of Cincinnati. the entire city of Cincinnati. We work under a different fund at the Waterworks. We work under the enterprise fund. The rest of the city, most of the rest of the city works under the general fund. So that is my number one priority. That was the driving force why I wanted to run. I have other things and other priorities, and one of them is the mental health issue. And I dealt with it in the workplace, and it's a problem across the whole country, probably across the whole world. And one of the things I would do if I was on city council was I would propose a mental health commission, and I would get the professionals from all the avenues that touch this issue and touch this problem, from the police to the schools to the mental health workers to the psychiatrists, and have them report quarterly or semi-annually back to city council, and just try to come up with, I mean, we're not going to solve the problem, but maybe we can help it a little bit, because I think it's a big driving force, not in crime, and then also in homelessness. And the other one is the problem, and I've heard it in a lot of the communities that I've gone around, is with the truancy and the young kids running around the streets at night, and trying to get our hands around that and try to solve that issue. So I won't take up any more of your time, but if you have any questions. I have some refrigerator magnets. I'll put them up here if anybody's interested.
Could you actually set them on the back desk with the other handouts?
I will.
Back. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Carolyn Youngquist from Community Heights Art Center. Is Carolyn here? Okay, moving on. All right, so now we're going to be moving into our community council committees. Aaron from Resource Committee was not able to come tonight, but he also doesn't have any rates. He helps us source and figure out the flow of applying for different grants and funding sources for all sorts of different projects. If you're interested in that type of work, or you have an expertise in that type of work, Aaron would love a teammate, and we would love for you to be his teammate. We're going to actually skip ahead a little bit in the agenda and have Brandon come up and speak on safety, and then we'll get back to the normal order.
Hi everybody, I'm Brandon White. I'm the chair of the safety committee. We meet on the Mondays following this meeting at Goodfellas at 6:30. So if you have any concerns, just want to hang out for a drink, feel free to join us. Officer Martin usually presents the crime stats, and she usually has a lot more information than I do on them. But she didn't send them. She's feeling under the well today, so she's not here. But according to the crime stats, we had no violent crime in the neighborhood, which is great. We did have an increase in personal theft and burglaries. So I'm going to get some more information on that. Sometimes a lot of those things, they could be people known to you, or people living in your house, and they just run off with your stuff, or I forget which one, identity theft. I think that gets dropped into other theft. So, so just keep an eye on that. And yeah, other than meeting, and I won't talk about the car thing since we didn't have any of that, so you don't write that down.
Yes. I was complaining that every single month I have to type the word Hyundai. Hyundai. And I can't even say it, much less spell it. So thank you.
No problem. And we're also always recruiting new block watch captains. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically what everyone does on Facebook in a very non-negative and a very localized. So just the people on your block, so they actually know who you are. So no keyboard warriors, none of that. So it's the nice part of Facebook. Or really any way you want to do it. Some people do text exchange, some people do email threads, whatever that is. And we're also always recruiting for new block watch folks, or sorry, Citizens on Patrol is what it is. Citizens on Patrol, which is a little bit more involved. You do have to take a class, but you walk around with us. It's run by the Cincinnati Police Department, and just kind of make yourself known. And we usually get a lot of people saying hi and thanking us for walking around, getting their steps in, basically. But that's about it for me. Great. Thanks.
Brandon, a shout out to you. In the past month, from city council members and non-city council members, I've heard two pieces of data. One, that Pleasant Ridge is the safest of all 52 neighborhoods. And I've heard that we're the third safest, so I'm going to go with the data I like more. So the top neighborhood, 52, that's huge. And the reports you gave tonight. So I know it's the way that you do it all. You invite people in, and the foundation you've laid is really appreciated. So huge thank you for enabling that along with all the residents.
Yeah, and we have a great, very silent group of folks that are involved. Barb's one of our block watch captains, so that's always great. And we are also the largest neighborhood in terms of square miles in District 2. So there's definitely, which is the largest district in the Cincinnati Police Department. So certainly a lot of ground physically that they have to cover. So very proud of that statistic. So thank you all.
Thank you, Brandon. I just saw a face in the crowd and realized that during my report, I missed something completely, so forgive me. Many of you would be familiar with free little libraries. I know that down on the streets near my house, somebody has a seed library, so you can go get seeds. I think there's even somebody who does baked goods. And then there's the free little pantry by PRM. Those are wonderful additions to the community, especially when you're willing and ready to do it on your own property. One has popped up down Santiville on somebody else's property. And while those types of things are welcome and they're great additions to the community, you cannot just put something up on somebody else's community. So if you know about down Santiville who put together a free little pantry and then placed it somewhere without notifying the property owner, please contact me and I will make all the parties connected so we can sort out the best resolve for that situation. If you know somebody, reach out to me, president_PRCC@pleasantridge.org. All right, now back to the agenda. Things you never thought you'd say at a community council. All right, so we skipped ahead. So we're jumping straight into community and connection. And look, Community Comms Committee, do you have any updates to share? All right.
Hello. Everyone's probably plugged in if they're at this meeting, but I will plug it anyway. Sign up for our email newsletters, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Yeah, stay in touch with all of us. I think, like Michelle said, our emails are on there. So yeah, get connected and stay up to date. I work really hard on the emails, so I hope people are actually reading them. But yeah, thank you.
Your emails are awesome. The communities from when I got here 3 years to now are it's night and day difference. Also, you'll see an opportunity in those emails to join another specifically volunteer list. So if you're the type of person that's willing to just give your time some time, please sign up for that. Next up is Miss Jackie Gonzalez Martin for our brand new events committee, who had a very successful and enjoyable first event this past weekend.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm Jackie Martin. If you want to join the events committee, please let me know. We're having a lot of fun so far. We had a successful Art on Arrow event on Sunday where people were able to go up on porches and get to know their neighbors and support artists, local artists. Not all of them Pleasant Ridge, but artists made money. We had fun. Got a couple businesses involved, so we hope to just continue doing that kind of thing. I'm also working with Kelly on that calendar, and on Wednesdays, my intention is to post all of the events that we have going on this week on the Pleasant Ridge Facebook page, which has so many people and a lot of eyeballs on it. So just to make our neighborhood more fun. So, for November, we're thinking maybe getting together to watch a sporting event outdoors. And also I had a local business reach out offering to host a chili cook-off. So we'll talk about that more. Come meet me if you want to work with us. And I want to get with the Luminaria team too. So, thanks.
Thank you so much. And with that, it is your turn, Mr. Jeff.
Am I the last one? Am I the
No, you are not the last one. A round of applause for Jeff Cerrone, everybody.
Nobody else got that. Hey, everybody, I'm Jeff. I'm the bringer of the light for Luminaria this year. PRCC's second favorite fundraiser, just for you. What is Luminaria, you might ask? Well, imagine the darkest night of the winter, and all of your neighbors come out and light lanterns, flammable lanterns, in front of all of your property. It's actually beautiful. So for $20, did I just say $20? That's it? For $20, you get 12 Illuminaria lanterns. It's a bag, it's sand, it's a candle, you light it, it's gorgeous. I know, right? Like, look at your face. You're so excited by this. I know, right? I know. It's only $20 and you get 12 of them. For $40, you get 24. So if you have a grumpy neighbor like I do, I just go and put some candles out in front of them. Brings light to the whole thing. This year, it's going to happen on Saturday, December 13th, the same day as the Pleasant Ridge Shop Hop. Yeah. So it's like a combo. It's a celebration all day and a celebration all night. If you would like to volunteer or to partner up, we're a lot of fun. We put a lot of sand in bags. We drive these things around to everybody. Oh, that's the other thing. Once you order it, we just drop it off at your house. So we're looking for street captains, people who will organize your street and get everybody involved. Then we'll just drop them off at your house and you distribute it. Or we're looking for people to help put these things together. We're looking for people to help. We've got some signs printed to like drop them in all over the city. So if any of this sounds like fun, where do you go? Well, you go to pleasantridge.org/luminaria, and starting tomorrow or someday, you'll be able to order those right there. And we're going to put my jcerrone@gmail.com, I know, right there, on the website. If you want to volunteer, go do that. Hashtag Illuminaria. Do not do hashtag Illuminati unless you want to know the real story behind these weird pop-up libraries that are happening.
You are a delight.
I yield my time.
This is why we gave you a preliminary round of applause. An absolute delight. That's fabulous. We were already informed that Ridge Day does not have any updates. Again, we'll remind you it was our highest funds ever taken in by a Ridge Day this year. Still celebrating that. Next is Youth Committee. Do you have some of the training? Very nice. Amy Moore here is our parent or adult liaison for the Youth Committee.
Hi, all. Youth Committee is plugging along. We are up to 13 members at last count, double digits. So that's going great. We just had another successful car wash. These kids are working their buns off. So the next event is going to be fun, not service, because they've earned it. So, and I have a check for you, just thinking about it. Some more for you to manage. But yes, so we're thinking the last I pulled out of my daughter was, got to pull the information out all the time. The last I heard was they're probably meeting Saturday to discuss what their event is going to be. It's probably going to be a visit to a pumpkin patch. There's any Pleasant Ridge teens that want to join. It's drop-in. It's not like they're earning badges. They don't have to come every time. These kids are busy. But if you know any Pleasant Ridge teens that would like to join, just email me at the new youth committee email. Thank you, comms. It's youthco.prcc@gmail. And
it's in your agenda.
Yeah, and we'll get them connected. We'll get the details. But yeah, we've got kids from Roger Bacon, Walnut Hills, M&D, St. X. It was a beautiful group. I think there was 8 kids doing the car wash this last time, and we have some young men that have joined as well. So it's good times.
It's wild how many things we set out to get going that have last couple of years. It's pretty awesome to see the Youth Committee going. And thank you for your time and obviously for your daughter and all of our friends. So our next set of committees fall under our safety and transportation and organizational pillar. Brandon already shared for Safety Block Watch, so we have Pleasant Streets to report today. Lauren.
I'm Lauren. I work with Pleasant Streets, and I don't like doing these public updates, but we have some good news. We finally are getting our speed cushions here at the library, so that hopefully will be done in a couple of weeks. I think the work has started. They have also removed the parking restrictions along Montgomery in our business district. There used to be rush hour on each side of the street. Now you can park there whenever you want. And an update, kind of a status update on the Ridge repave. We did a lot of work last year. The city engaged us about this time last year. We had already done some community surveys and gotten a big bundle of feedback together to give to DOTE about what we wanted to see and what the problems were on Ridge. And we waited about 10 months to have a meeting with them. They were very clear that they heard our concerns, but also that this was not ever meant to be a safety project. This is about repaving, and their budget reflects that. So they were trying to manage our expectations, that there was definitely not going to be the budget for all the things, all the safety improvements that we wanted to see. But they asked us to put our asks in a priority list, and they will, they're going to bid everything and see how much it all costs and see what they can afford. So we're hoping to get at least some crosswalks and maybe some speed cushions, and they will be coming back to us hopefully soon with a more concrete plan for feedback. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of room for more pushback from us, but we'll at least see what they are planning before they start. I don't know when they're planning to start working.
Thank you. Yeah, well, the details we were given is that they need to have it bid out by the end of the year, so they've got to have design done by then. So we should be getting some semblance of design finality before the end of this year. So we'll be able to report back to that. All right. From there, we do have a zoning committee. They told me they don't have any updates. They would keep us posted. The zoning committee was formed with former President Bill Frost due to some issues with the landscaping company off of Acom. That's pretty much all they're working on. So the committee may be a temporary committee, but that is currently underway. From there, we go to parks and public spaces. Both of the committee leads have let us know that they don't have any updates. This month, parks will have some updates next month to share. And beautification also didn't have any updates, but they will is next month because they had a meeting. Several people showed up and they're talking about holiday decorations, so they'll be able to present a comprehensive plan on what they will do for holiday decorations in the business district. From there, business and development. I think we've already talked about that ad nauseum. Are there any questions about any of the things that we've covered tonight before we move into the hearing of the public? All right.
If Walgreens wants to move into Pleasant Ridge, is the Pleasant Ridge Development Corporation going to keep them out, or leave the council?
Walgreens?
Yes.
We already have a Walgreens.
Right. Years ago, Walgreens wanted to build a new Walgreens at Ridge and Montgomery.
Oh, yes.
The council nixed it.
Mhm.
At some point, that building, Walgreens may decide to move out of that building. Up there, it's a small building, and years ago, it was owned by 4 investors out in California. If they did land for it or something, and the building's not maintained, Walgreens, they want to move out.
Good.
Or a grocery store, maybe? Throwing out some ideas.
I'm not aware of them looking to move, and I can't speculate on any specific business, but the types of businesses that we prefer in the business district are more local and are meeting the needs of what residents shared in our surveys. And the survey folks did not share out that they were looking for more access to a drugstore. So I think we would go to what the data says, and it's not saying that people want something changed with the current drugstore situation. So I don't know of any plans, and I can't see that happening.
Yeah, so some of that would be speculatory. Something like that comes to community council or goes to the owner of a property and somehow we get mixed in with that, there's no way for us to speculate in the future. All I can tell you is what I understood of the story is where they wanted to be wasn't going to be good for our business district, particularly a busy intersection. Didn't think that was a good place for them to go, and so the community council blocked it. But that's all I know. But that's maybe even fourth-hand information. So, but that's past news. So, was there any other question on it? Okay. All right. So now is going to be people's opportunity to come and share whatever they would. During this time of this hearing of the public, anybody who wishes to come up to talk about whatever they're going to talk about, get 2 minutes. The timer is running. When the timer goes off, I don't mean to be rude to anyone, but I will cut the mic because it's 2 minutes.
He can too.
If you haven't noticed, I've been playing sound here the whole time. So if anybody would like to speak on any topic, you can feel free to start lining up on that side.
On the agenda, so I'll start.
On the 25th, Community Happens Here is having a fall festival. It is, of course, open to everyone and free, as these always are. Please make an opportunity to go meet your neighbors and create neighborhood resiliency. And there are flyers every Saturday, 11 to 1, sidewalk hospitality.
You're awesome, Ruth Ann. Thank you very much. Community Happens Here is a great part of our neighborhood.
Good evening, everyone. Carl Beckman here, 66-year resident. The water leak is back down at Lester and Highland Avenue. The city doesn't know where the water is coming from, whether it's fresh water, storm water, or sewer water. I did send another 311 request. If it continues during the winter months, use caution when driving through that area. The next thing is early voting has started, and the residents of Cincinnati will be voting on a number of issues. I have not heard any of these issues discussed in the media or in the newspaper. One issue that's being discussed is 2 changes to the city charter, which is kind of like the Constitution of Cincinnati. Let me talk a little bit about driver safety in Pleasant Ridge. My driveway is not safe. The streets of Pleasant Ridge are not safe as long as Amazon is on the street. That's just my personal opinion. On June 23rd, 2025, an Amazon driver drove 100 feet off the public right-of-way and abandoned a vehicle in my backyard. The transmission went out on the vehicle. The Amazon trucks are not owned by Amazon. They are owned by different franchises. It took 2 to 3 hours to get a wrecker out there in my narrow driveway to remove the truck. Meanwhile, the wrecker driver was teasing me about how there was no way to get the vehicle out of the backyard without hitting my house. Now, I had minimal property damage. I never got a call from Amazon. When I first noticed the vehicle and the noise, I saw 2 gentlemen unloading the vehicle in my backyard and taking the items and putting them into a U-Haul truck. I thought perhaps that it had been hijacked or something. But after discussions with them, I found out that the transmission went out, and the driver thought that if he could get it in my backyard, the transmission might come back. So this is what we're dealing with on the roadways. Now, on July 9th, the Inquirer reported that the city will build a $5.5 million daytime shelter. We need to get our homeless population into that shelter. We had the one homeless man up in Kennedy Heights, then he moved to another location in Kennedy Heights. Last time I was at the library, he was in back of the library panhandling me. We have another homeless man that likes to sleep or stay in the front yards of homes over on Ridge Avenue. Many thanks to the residents who are reporting the burned out street lights. I'm on a first name basis with the linemen.
Carl, we exceeded the 2 minutes. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Thank
You are a wealth of information. I love when you come and share. If you need any more information, I'm sure Carl is ready and willing to help. He'll share with you how to use 311 to a better degree. If you aren't familiar with it, he can definitely help you, because I know he's somebody who's been using it for quite a while. Thank you again, Carl.
Hi, I'm Barb Dietrichson. I'm on the traffic committee, but I'm really speaking as a resident tonight. I gather a lot of information about traffic safety issues in the neighborhood. I request police reports, and you may see me sometimes, holding my hand up to stop people or yelling at cars for speeding. I walk a lot through the neighborhood, and I worry about the traffic here. Just within the last week, I got a traffic committee report about a car that had run a red light at Langdon Farm in Montgomery, and this happens a lot. This car ran the red light, T-boned a van. The van was carrying school children. And what I didn't know until somebody weighed in on my comment is that one of those children is a resident of Pleasant Ridge. She had a broken collarbone. She had a concussion. She was taken to Children's Hospital. She's still recovered. She's still not well. She's having trouble in school. And this is all because we are driving so fast. And I live on a street that's quite narrow, and I even see residents driving on my little enclave that are going well over a 20 or 25 mile per hour speed limit. So it's just, this is my plea to the community. When you get behind the wheel of that 3,000 or 5,000 or 6,000 ton enormous vehicle, remember that you are encountering people everywhere you go. And your car can cause enormous damage to all of us that are out there that are not in that great big vehicle that's protecting you. So it's just a plea to the neighborhood to please slow down. The world will not come to an end if you're 2 minutes later than you would be otherwise by following the speed limit. So thank you. I take this very personally.
Thank you, Barb. Else who has any comment? Do we have any? The comment being made so that people online can hear is that the stop sign, the new stop sign on Woodford is not being observed. So if you're turning on to Woodford, obviously pay attention, and also please stop at stop signs that you are legally required to stop at. Any other comments, questions? Some of you would like to make a motion to end this meeting. Second, first, second, third, fourth. Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.